What if I told you that no is just a starting point? There are psychological backdoors to the human brain. Today, we rank the 5 forbidden tricks, from the Ben Franklin effect to the isolation protocol. Warning: use these with extreme caution. Most of us go through life playing by the rules, thinking that logic and reason are what drive human decisions. But the truth is much darker and far more interesting. Our brains are essentially biological computers running on outdated software, and like any software, there are glitches and shortcuts. If you know which buttons to press, you can bypass someone's defenses before they even realize you've started talking. We aren't talking about simple please and thank you etiquette here. We are diving into the mechanics of cognitive dissonance, ego manipulation, and the raw architecture of human social behavior. As we count down to number 1, the techniques become more invasive and, frankly, more dangerous to your reputation if you're caught. But if you master the final trick, the one used by intelligence agencies to extract the truth, you will never be lied to the same way again. Let's start at the bottom of the ladder with a technique that feels completely backward. Number 5 is the Ben Franklin effect. Most people think that if you want someone to like you, you should do something nice for them. You buy them a coffee, you help them with a report, or you give them a compliment. Logic says, I did something nice, so they will like me. But psychology says the exact opposite is often more effective. If you want someone to like you, you should ask them for a small, effortless favor. Benjamin Franklin famously used this to win over a rival legislator who deeply disliked him. Instead of groveling, Franklin asked to borrow a very rare and specific book from the man's library. The rival, feeling flattered by the request, sent it over immediately. When Franklin returned it with a heartfelt note of thanks, the two became lifelong friends. Why does this work? It's because of a concept called cognitive dissonance. The human brain hates it when our actions and our thoughts don't match up. If I do a favor for you, my brain thinks, why am I doing this? I must like this person. To resolve the internal conflict of doing something for someone I supposedly dislike, the brain simply changes its opinion of you. It's a subtle hack that forces the other person's ego to become your greatest ally. Use this when you enter a new office or a social circle where the vibe feels icy. Ask for a pen, ask for their opinion on a minor detail, or ask to borrow a book. You aren't just getting a pen. You're rewriting their internal script about who you are. Moving up the ranking to number 4, we have the door-in-the-face technique. This is the bread and butter of high-stakes negotiators and master sales reps. The principle is simple. If you want a yes, start by intentionally triggering a no. Human beings have an innate desire for reciprocity. If someone makes a concession for us, we feel a deep, subconscious need to make a concession for them. Here's how it looks in practice. You ask for something huge, something you know the other person will almost certainly refuse. Hey, can you watch my dog for the next 2 weeks while I'm on vacation? The answer is almost always a hard no. Immediately after they refuse, you pivot to what you actually wanted all along. I totally understand. That's a big ask. Would you mind just checking in on him once this Saturday instead? Compared to the 2-week request, the Saturday request looks tiny. But more importantly, the other person feels like you've given up your original demand to meet them halfway. To maintain their self-image as a reasonable person, they feel a massive psychological pressure to agree to the second, smaller request. It's a game of contrast and guilt. If you lead with the small request, it stands alone and is easy to reject. If you lead with the door in the face, the second request feels like a gift. Now we are entering the mid-tier of danger with number 3, the double bind, or the illusion of choice. People hate feeling forced into a corner, but they love feeling like they are in control. The double bind is a way to give someone freedom while ensuring they end up exactly where you want them. Instead of asking a yes or no question, you provide 2 options that both lead to your desired outcome. Never ask a client, do you want to have a meeting this week? That gives them the option to say no. Instead, ask, would Tuesday at 2 o'clock or Thursday at 4 o'clock work better for our meeting? By picking between the two, their brain skips the part where they decide if they want to meet. They become focused on the logistics of when, accepting the premise of the meeting as an established fact. This is used by parents, CEOs, and world-class persuaders to bypass resistance. It works because it respects the other person's ego by giving them the final word. But beneath the surface, you have already fenced them in. The danger here is that if you use it too often, people begin to feel managed rather than consulted. It requires a light touch and a friendly tone to keep the illusion alive. As we reach number 2, we encounter the isolation protocol, also known as emotional anchoring. This is where the psychology starts to get truly forbidden. This technique involves creating a private world between you and the person you are trying to influence. It starts with the secret. By sharing a secret with someone, even if it's something trivial, you instantly create an us versus them dynamic. You might say, "Don't tell the rest of the team yet, but I'm thinking of changing the project direction. I wanted to see what you thought first." Suddenly, that person feels like an insider. They feel special. You have isolated them from the general group and anchored their loyalty to you. Once someone feels they have exclusive access to you, they are far more likely to defend you and grant your requests. It's a form of tribalism scaled down to a one-on-one interaction. This is ranked at number 2 because it is the foundation of most manipulative relationships. It creates a bubble where the target begins to value your opinion over the opinion of the collective. It is effective, but it is high risk. If the secret is revealed to be a ploy, the social backlash is devastating. And now, we have arrived at number 1. The technique that is so effective, it has been documented in intelligence training manuals. It is called Cunningham's Law, but in the world of influence, we call it the forced correction. Most people think that to get information or a yes out of someone, you should ask direct questions. How much did you spend on this project? Or, what is your secret to success? The problem is that direct questions make people's defensive shields go up. They feel interrogated, and they start to filter their answers. The forced correction flips this on its head. The fastest way to get the right answer on the internet, or in person, is not to ask a question. It's to post the wrong answer. Humans have a psychological itch to correct someone who is wrong. Our egos cannot stand to let a false statement sit in the air, especially if it's about something we are proud of. If you want to know a competitor's profit margins, don't ask them. Instead say, "I heard you guys are struggling to even hit a 5% margin this year." The ego trigger is so strong that they will often blurt out the truth just to prove you wrong. 5%? Are you kidding? We've been holding steady at 22% since Q1. They just gave you the classified information you wanted, and they did it voluntarily. They don't feel like they were interrogated. They feel like they won the argument. This is the ultimate backdoor because it uses the target's own intelligence and pride against them. It works on CEOs, it works on strangers, and it even works in high-pressure interrogations. You provide a false premise, and you let their need for accuracy do the heavy lifting. You can use this to get people to reveal their true feelings, their plans, or their most guarded data. But remember the warning from the beginning. These tricks are not magic. They are reflections of human vulnerability. If you use them to help people and build bridges, you become a master communicator. If you use them to exploit and deceive, you might get what you want in the short term. But eventually, the isolation protocol will work against you, and you'll find yourself truly alone. The most powerful tool in psychology isn't a trick at all. It's the trust you build when you don't need to use them. Use this knowledge wisely. The world is a chessboard. Make sure you aren't just a pawn.